Okay, this is exercise 4K. I was asked to do number 1C. So we need to use the quotient rule and we need to evaluate that. So I guess let's start. Let's just make sure we have quotient rule. So quotient rule says that if a function is a rational one, then its first derivative is the denominator times the derivative of the numerator minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator all over the denominator squared. Okay, so applying that to our values here, that would give me the square root of 1 minus x squared times the derivative of the numerator, which would just be 2, minus 1 plus 2x times the derivative of the denominator, which would be 1/2 times 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power, to the negative 1/2 power, and then times the derivative of the inside, because chain rule, and that would give me just negative 2x. All right, I'm just going to work on the denominator of this fraction for a little bit. Well, I guess I can write it. So this is the square root of 1 minus x squared. Okay, simplifying what I have here. I've got 2 times the square root of 1 minus x squared minus, well, it's actually plus, and the 2's go away, plus x times, that's going to be a fraction, so let's write it as a fraction, plus x times 1 plus 2x all over the square root of 1 minus x squared, and then all of this over 1 minus x squared. Okay, so like I said, let's play around with this denominator a little bit, and let's see if we can't simplify it. Okay, so it's fractions. I have to force common denominators. So that first part of it's going to turn into 2 times 1 minus x squared times square root of 1 minus x squared all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. That gives me my fraction. And I'm going to add to that plus x times 1 plus 2x all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Combining fractions, I would get 2 times the square root of 1 minus x squared, and all of that is squared, plus x plus 2x squared, and all of that over the square root of 1 minus x squared. And again, this is just the denominator. Well, this first bit here, that can simplify to 2 times 1 minus x squared plus x plus 2x squared all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Again, just the denominator. If I did that, I would have 2 minus 2x squared plus x plus 2x squared all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Well, these cancel. So my final denominator turns into 2 plus x all over the square root of 1 minus x squared. Taking this back up and rewriting our thing, I'd have 2 plus x over the square root of 1 minus x squared all over 1 minus x squared. Well, that denominators, we're just going to combine those denominators, so I'd end up with 2 plus x over 1 minus x squared times 1 minus x squared to the 1/2 power. And combining those, they have the same base. So I guess I could leave this as 2 plus x over 1 minus x squared to the 3/2 power. So that is the simplification of that, and that's as far as we can go. Hope that's helpful.